Good evening, everyone. Look, I'm so excited I didn't even take my normal nap. It is past my bedtime, but I am so happy to be with all of you this evening. You look great. Who is excited? Yes. Going to be an awesome evening of conversation. I see some of you have already given me some questions to ask, so thank you. Keep those coming. If I could real quickly, though, quick housekeeping. Cell phones, I know everyone has one, maybe two. Let's silence them so they don't interrupt our conversation. So if you haven't silenced it yet, please do that. Okay, now I know you all didn't come to see me, although you can see me tomorrow morning. It's fine. It's fine. I'll be at work. But who is ready to see Billy Dee Williams, huh? All right. So for those of you who just may not know who he is or his impact, let's take a look at this quick video. Watch right here.
Let me tell folks about this guy. I've been a fan of this guy for a while, off of one particular performance that he did in a motion picture. But let me tell you more about him. He plays the handsome, sometime hero and sometime double-crosser Lando Calrissian. Did I do it right?
Spot on.
Here he is, the old smoothie himself.
Mr. It's Billy Dee Williams! The real Billy Dee Williams!
I'm afraid so, yes. How you doing, you old pirate? So good to see you. Hello, what have we here? You know, seeing you sure brings back a few things. I will return, I will return. I'll come back for the honey and you. Well, thank you for being my #1 fan. Times sure are changing. There it is! There it is! Nice shot. It's just the beginning. There it is! Listen, it's all an adventure. It's very clear our love is here to stay, not for a year, but ever and a day. The radio and the telephone and the movies that we know may just be passing fancies, and in time may go. But oh my dear, our love is here to stay, not for a year, but ever and a day. The radio and the telephone and the movies that we know may just be passing fancies, and in time may go.
Now, he said backstage he was going to surprise us a little bit, so I did not know that was going to happen. Well, first of all, welcome to D.C. Welcome back, I should say.
Yeah, we know each other.
Yeah, we're old friends.
We know each other intimately.
Ooh, it's going to be a long night, isn't it? Okay, so, well, first, congratulations on your book, What Have We Here? A fantastic book. I had the chance to read it. So let's just go ahead and get started with the conversation, because I know I want to get to some of the questions from our audience as well. So Well, first, I did have this question. Backstage, you were talking about, you used to work in a library. We're in a library tonight.
Yeah.
What was that
no,
like?
I worked at the New York City Public Library on, was it 42nd?
Okay.
I think it's 42nd Street?
Yeah.
Yeah. My buddy and I, Dickie Stroud, but he was a real book person. I'm a book person, but not to the degree where I want to get stuck in a library all day long,
Yeah.
organizing books. And that's what I had to do. It lasted about 2 days. And I went straight to Central Park and started rowing a boat.
Okay. Well, I've read and I had no idea really that you didn't want to be an actor. You wanted to paint, and you are an artist.
I never knew. I never knew what I wanted to be.
Really?
No, it never. I think part of what I want to say in the book, I guess, is I've been sort of living this kind of adventure all of my life. And I take things seriously up to a certain point. I don't take myself seriously. I take my work seriously, but I don't really take myself seriously. In fact, I think I'm a walking absurdity. But it's fun to be a walking absurdity.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your memories growing up in New York. I mean, in the book you talk about
My
your
mommy, daddy,
Yeah.
grandmommy.
And your mom worked at a theater.
Yeah.
And that kind of introduced you. Tell us a little bit about that story and how.
Mommy always wanted to be a movie star, and she was very pretty and a sweetheart. She was my first love. But she studied opera for many years, and she had a really beautiful voice. And her brother, my Uncle Bill, he was a classical musician. He went off right after the war, like a lot of people who didn't want to deal with discrimination and stuff like that. They left the country and went to Europe to live, and they call them expatriates. And my uncle was, I guess, one of those. He was one of those people. He went to Italy. He went to La Scala in Milano. Anyway, yeah, they were, the family I come from, they're like the most wonderful people in the world. I mean, if I had to come back to this life again, I mean, I'd want the same mother, same father, same grandmother, same sister. They kind of shaped my my whole life, and that's one of the things I talk about in the book. I mean, I was always not as smart as everybody. My father used to say to me, "You're so stupid," and but it didn't deter me from. I mean, I wanted to show that I was not stupid. I mean, some people give into it, but I was not one of those kind of people. And in fact, I said it to my sister one day. I said, you're so smart, because she was a straight A student from the time she went to school until when she went to NYU, finished NYU. I said to her, I'm so stupid. And she says, no. She says, you just have your head in the clouds. And she's right about that.
Yeah. So your first time on stage, you were 6, 7 years old?
I was 7 years old. I was in a Broadway musical. I don't know if any of you people know who Kurt Weill was.
I heard at least one.
Well, Kurt Weill wrote with Bertolt Brecht. He wrote Three Penny Opera. Anyway, they were doing a production of his music. It was a musical play based on the life of a very famous a Renaissance sculptor who was sort of a swashbuckling character. I have one of those. but the one I have now is different from this. I got the one like this. Oh, okay. Anyway, so yeah, it was based on the life of Benvenuto Cellini, who was a Renaissance sculptor. In fact, you could see if you go to New York, if they still have his pieces of, he did a lot of gold sculptures.
Okay.
But he was kind of one of these crazy swashbuckling characters during the Renaissance. Anyway, the play was based on that. But my mommy took me they found out she had a little boy, and they were looking for a little boy to play this role of a page boy. I wish I had a photograph of it. And we went and I auditioned. I walked across the stage one time, walked across the stage twice. And they said, "Thank you, Billy, that was very nice. We don't need you to do it again." But I insisted, I mean, just the bug, I don't know, something happened at that moment. You know, I wanted to do it a third time. And they said, no, that's okay, you don't need to do that. But so I started crying. And I always say I cried my way into show business. But that's how I had a chant.
Yeah.
Make way for the Duchess, for her grace the Duchess. Make way for the Duchess, for her legal, regal Duchess. And then I'd come back on stage a second time with a message from the Duchess. A message from the Duchess, from her grace the Duchess. Message from the Duchess, from her legal, regal Duchess. So that was what I had to do. And they were nice that I couldn't, you know, if the play ran over a certain time, I was only 7 years old, and they had the Gary Society. It was they protected children.
Yeah.
And I couldn't take a bow, which was devastating. It was devastating for me.
I bet. So that's your big break, so to speak, as a 7-year-old.
I kept telling everybody, hurry up with the play so I can, you know.
Take a bow. Well, okay, so let's fast forward a little bit to 1971. Who was here?
Okay.
Okay, I see a few hands.
Cheers, everybody.
And maybe some of you have heard of Brian's song. I don't know, maybe. What was that audition like? Because in the book you say that your agent said you were perfect for that role.
Brian's song, that was an act of love, that whole experience. Okay, I broke up from my second wife, and I was not very happy about that, because she was very beautiful, but she wanted to be an actress. She looks a lot like you.
I know, y'all don't react. Okay. So you were saying.
But anyway, her name was Marlene, but she decided she wanted to be called Marlena, and I refused to call her Marlena. Just to mess with her, you know. Anyway, I was a little bit unhappy about that, but my father was, and Brian's song is about the relationship between Brian Piccolo and Gail Sayers. And Brian Piccolo was dying of cancer. Well, my father was dying of cancer at that time. He was leukemia, and that was before they had a cure for leukemia. So when I had to do the reading to get the role, Lou Gossett was actually going to play the character, but he was playing basketball on a weekend, and he hurt his tendon in his Achilles heel. Boy, I didn't think I was going to get that one out. But so they called me in to audition for the role, and I got the role. But it was meant to be, you know, because Gail and I look a lot alike, except I'm better looking. No. Gail was a wonderful person, wonderful person. But we had the same sensibility. You know, we were very shy and very quiet and introverted. You would never know it by the way I'm going on tonight, though. But I used to be quite introverted, though, for most of my life. I think that's partly why I became an actor, I think. I think acting, playing roles, playing characters, allowed me to come out of myself. But anyway, he and James Caan and I had a real good chemistry, and that worked very well. And then, of course, the director, Buzz Kulik, was really wonderful to work with. It was one of those moments in, you know, when you, and it happens very few times in I guess, most of our lives, where you have that perfect moment. And that, to me, was like the perfect moment. Now, the industry couldn't decide who to give the Emmy to, because it was, you know, there was always this question of ethnicity and all this stupid stuff that people get mired in and get caught up in. So they, instead of giving me or giving both of us, they should have given both of us the Emmy, because we were both Emmy worthy. They gave it to an English actor who did the Six Wives of Henry VIII. And it was a shame, because that Brian song really created a huge, and it's still to this day,
Yeah.
created a huge impact in people's lives. I mean, I ran into bigots in the South who, for one day, just watching that, it changed their whole life.
Yeah, and you talk about some of that in the book. I mean, you write about that, running into somebody who maybe at first glance it doesn't seem like they would come up to you and have anything nice to say, and they say, "Brian's song changed my life." You know, even. You hear about men who say that it was the first movie they saw that made them feel like they could be emotional during a movie.
Well,
What is that like for you to hear?
I've had guys. I had one guy tell me that, you know, whenever he felt cathartic, you know, when he would just go to his library, close the door, and put Brian's song on, and just have a good cry. You know, it touched a lot of people in a very interesting way.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's one of my really proud moments, obviously.
And definitely award worthy for sure. So after that success, you earn a multi-year contract with Motown's Berry Gordy. Y'all do a couple things, right? So 1972, Lady Sings the Blues. Okay, I think some people might have seen that before. What was memorable for you about doing that film?
Well, okay, in the first scene, when I make the entrance and I'm coming down the stairs in a white suit, and I'm like coming down with one of the most beautiful women you could ever see, but I was so lovely. You didn't even notice her. No. I mean, when I saw myself, I really fell in love. I said, my goodness gracious. No, listen, I'm only joking. No, I'm not. No.
Oh my gosh.
No. Well, that was, by the way, you know, when I did Brian's song, that was within the same year I did A Lady Sings the Blues. A lot of people don't know that. They show you how good I am. We go from that one character to that other character. But anyway, no, it was of course working with Barry You know, I got at that time, we did the Lady Sings the Blues and we did Mahogany. But I had a contract with him for 7 years to do more movies. Well, you know, I mean, when you're, well, okay, I'll leave that. I won't go there, okay.
You sure?
I tend to joke about myself a lot. I think I'm a ridiculous human being. And it's fun to be a ridiculous human being. When you're a ridiculous human being, you got someplace to go. And hopefully it's a good place.
So let's talk a little bit about Mahogany, because you know you write a lot about that in the book as well. Just get it out. Okay. But you know, doing all of those films kind of back to back to back, and at that point you're like the Hollywood, like romance. Is
Well,
just
I
like
created something that
oozing.
nobody ever created as far as little brown-skinned boys were concerned. You know, I became a matinee idol.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was like never happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I was cute. But listen, even before those movies, I was on stage doing with Laurence Olivier's wife, Joan Plowright.
Mm-hmm.
I was playing a lover on stage. But I love romance. You know, I'm not a stud. I will never declare myself a stud. But I'm a romanticist. And that's my forte.
Oh my gosh! I'm really trying to get through this. This is so funny. Okay.
It's my forte.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So you know, you're at this point, you're Hollywood's like romantic leading man, and you know the Black Clark Gables, if you will. But you said you were frustrated because the opportunities for you weren't the same as they were for him. How do you not let that get to you too much, and you know try to move forward?
Well, I'm a realist. You know, I mean, when you realize that you're living in a world that was created by the European Western value system, and it's been going on for centuries, and it dominates literature, dominates all aspects of the arts, dominates politics. I mean, it's a reality that one has to live with. But rather than spend your time, you know, being pissed off, you just find ways to work your way around through and come up with ideas that you know, you come up with ideas and you make a difference by. I don't want to spend my time being pissed off. I mean, I don't want to use my energy doing that. I'd rather come up with some, like I'm a painter.
Mm-hmm.
So painting, you know, I don't sit around because, you know, talking about one thing or the other as opposed to the other. I talk about all of it. I see myself as the full spectrum of colors. And luckily, because of the way I grew up in New York with my parents, and the people that were very much a part of my life, my life has been it's a self-portrait. Oh, that's a funny story. I've led an eclectic life.
Yeah.
You know, I can't, you know, spend my time going like, fuck the whites. I can't do that. I just, you know, I'm not saying that everybody, you know, listen, we all should do what we think is most important to do.
Sure.
But I can't do that. Anyway, wait a minute, I lost it. Oh. Anyway, I did a self-portrait when I was 18.
Okay.
Yeah, by the way, I went to the National Academy of Design for the Fine Arts, and I won. I was nominated for a Guggenheim when I was 18, and won a Hall Garden, which is comparable to Guggenheim.
Yeah.
That's about my father.
Beautiful
The
art.
Cowboys. He was a Texan,
Okay. Okay.
and that's December D. And my great grandfather, his name was Darling. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here.
No, it's okay. 'Cause I do want to get to before we run out of time. So
But the picture I did, the self-portrait, that one there, call it From A to Z and Beyond.
that's beautiful.
That's me looking at myself taking a journey. I mean, I always see myself as this kind of romantic figure with a staff in my hand, walking through life, you know. Or I came up with a great character called the Bon Vivant. He's a character who walks through life and observes everything that's real and simple, but totally absurd. But the picture that was before, I was a self-portrait when I was 18. I thought I got sick.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, I got sick, and I decided I thought I was going to die. I thought I was dying. You know, that's how my crazy brain. There was Modigliani. I remember Modigliani. He died, I think, of some disease or something. But I thought I had something wrong with me, and I was losing weight. And I thought, well, let me do a self-portrait before I die. And I found out all I had was a bad case of diarrhea. Anyway, thought I'd relate that to you.
Oh my gosh. Well, so kind of sticking with the movie theme here. Star Wars. You know, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. Those obviously, they did okay. Just kidding.
Yeah,
They did
right.
really good. They did really good. But talk to us about that experience. I mean, you can't, everyone who knows those movies and loves those movies, Lando's right there at the top.
Well, you know, when I was offered to play Lando, because, you know, I had this reputation in movies to be this sort of lovely little child, you know, with a wonderful presence. Oh, boy. And when they told me that, oh, there's me and Corey, that's my son, my first love, that beautiful boy. You know, when I heard Lando Calrissian, I said, that's an Armenian name. I said, whoa, let me see what I can do with that one. You know, I spent a lot of time talking to one of the greatest actors this country's ever met or seen on screen or on stage, Paul Muni. And we used to have great conversations. I did my very first movie with Muni. But we talked about actors and what you can do and all the liberties that you should take. If you're an actor, you shouldn't even be restricted by all kinds of stuff. So anyway, Calrissian, I said, wow, Armenian, let me see what I can do with that. And then when I saw the cape, I said, whoa. All right, that name and the cape was like Errol Flynn. And I said, okay, let's do a superhero. Let me do something that's like bigger than life. You know, this guy was, you know, a heroic figure, but dubious. And there's nothing more interesting than a dubious heroic figure. You know, I mean, and that's what Lando was. But a lot of people didn't realize that you know, when he betrayed, and he really didn't betray Han Solo, his buddy, but he was in the middle of a whole situation with Darth Vader, and Darth Vader was about to like usurp his whole situation, and he had to figure something out. But a lot of people didn't realize that. Really, a lot of people just looked at me and I was betraying Han Solo, and that was it. And I started thinking about it. I said, you know, when you get a little kid, you know, on a Q&A who's 10 years old, going, have you ever betrayed anybody? That's scary. And then you say, no, I never betrayed anybody. And he goes, come here, we can talk. But I mean, it got down to that. I mean, I was picking my daughter up from school, and the kids in the schoolyard, you betrayed Han Solo, I'd get on an airplane, and the stewardess, the flight attendant, you betrayed Han Solo. And I'm like going, oh man, these people take this stuff really seriously. You know. So anyway, I finally had to say to everybody, look, did anybody die? Nobody died. You know. And then on top of that, I mean, George was working it out so he didn't want to have to lose Harrison. You know, and for the next sequel.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's Hollywood movie making that creates all of these problems for everybody's lives, like Donald Trump. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm like, oh, I will not touch that one. So, you know what? A story that I thought
he's very charming, by the way.
I've never met him.
He's I've met him. He's a very charming man.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the.
No, he is. He really is. He really is.
A story that I thought was that I enjoyed in the book. You talk about being in Fences.
Fences.
Yes, and taking over for James Earl Jones and the impact that had on you. And you wrote that you had to have a tough conversation with yourself when you took over for him.
I did? I said that?
You did. You said it had a great impact on you.
Well, Jimmy was a great actor. There's no question about it. But I also think I'm a great actor. So
Okay.
I mean, he just has a deeper voice. I mean, Laurence Olivier didn't have a deep voice. Although I used to talk to Laurence Olivier a lot, and I asked him one day if he ever wanted to play Othello. And he said, yeah, he thought about it, but he always had this image of Paul Robeson, you know, being the quintessential Othello, the vocal, the voice, and stature. And that's what when he decided to do it, that's what he worked for, to deepen his voice. But he did something else that, you know, because everybody thinks that black people have big asses, you know. He stuck his ass out and sort of walked around like this, you know. And when I saw the performance, I was in hysterics. I thought it was so fantastic. I thought, you know, the choice was like it was unbelievable. But I like that kind of stuff. But anyway, what was?
James Earl Jones and Fences.
And Fences, James Earl Jones and Fences. Jimmy, he played Othello too. The big voice. It is the cause. It is the cause, my soul. Anyway.
Oh, you are funny. Okay. Let me.
No. He had been doing it at, I think, Yale. He was playing that character for a long time, putting it together. So he had it down. But I came in cold. They asked me to come in and take over. And I don't know, you know, I look at what I do is interesting, at least. Because I will give you a maverick performance. I won't give you what you want necessarily, but I'll give you something that will make you think. And I enjoy doing that. I'm a bad boy.
I can see that. I do want to get to a few questions, because we've got some good ones coming in, and they gave me this iPad, so I'm going to use it. This is from Deb, I think this says. Who among all your amazing co-stars have you remained close to over the years?
I don't like actors. I don't remain close to actors. I can't stand actors. I don't remain close to. No. I'm a family man. You know, I just love being around my family and the people that are very close to me that I consider family. I'm not one of those people who hangs out with actors and stuff like that. I mean, certainly Jimmy I always consider a friend. But I don't spend any time with actors.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. Which scene, either in theater or film, did you find to either be the most challenging or rewarding in terms of your performance?
Well, I did a wonderful play called Slow Dance on the Killing Ground. I did it off Broadway. Clarence Williams did it on Broadway. And I knew Clarence, good man, gentleman. And you know, and for me, when I call somebody a gentleman, that's a real compliment. I mean, to be a gentleman is, to me, one of those compliments that really have a real meaning. Not everybody's a gentleman. Randall, the character, it was a 3-character play. That was one of the most wonderful experiences I've ever had. But also I did a character in a movie in Toronto called Giant Steps, based on Coltrane's Giant Steps. I played this jazz musician. And it's a wonderful baby in here. Oh, look at that. Oh, wonderful, beautiful. He was a character. There it is. He's playing Randall. I think that's it. Yeah. That's Clarence. But it's a great character, a really wonderful character.
Yeah.
It was based on actually a young Puerto Rican kid who was running around New York, and just wearing a cape. Strange kid, obviously, wearing a cape and dark glasses, and had an umbrella with like a sword on the end. It was based on a real character, but it was an interesting character because he was highly intellectual, a brilliant mind.
Yeah.
That was a tough role, but it was a really rewarding role. I was very good in it, with that character.
Yeah.
But I'm not a thug. I've never been a thug. I'm basically a very soft person. I don't like hurting people, don't want to. I have no desire to hurt anybody. And I think that kind of person, and when I was a kid, I always remember my mommy always told me about actors who were the nicest people in the world, were the best gangsters in the movies, like Edward G. Robinson, or Cagney. What was that movie he did about the enemy? I forget, but he was dying. He got shot, and he was like, but Edward G. Robinson was always giving a speech, Mother Mercy. Is this the end of Rico? I love that kind of stuff. Yeah, I can see where nice people are the best, because it's more of a creative and anyway, I don't know. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
So I knew someone was going to ask. So thank you, John. Do you actually drink Colt 45? This is from John. John wants to know.
It works every time. Don't let the smooth taste fool you.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
No, Colt 45 is good. I think American beer is pretty good. Colt 45 is a good beer. I would say it's a good beer. I'm not a beer drinker per se, but I mean, I think it's a pretty good beer. I got a great drink. I developed a really wonderful drink. A double Tito's in a wine glass with cucumber juice and ginger beer. It's really good.
Okay. Somebody wrote that down? Okay. Good. Okay, let me get to Jordan's question. The Empire Strikes Back premiered here first at the Kennedy Center in 1980. What do you remember from that night?
I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. I was just asking
There were a
for
lot
Jordan.
of movie stars sitting in the audience. You know, I thought that was impressive. Walked the red carpet. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm trying to think of something funny, but I don't know. I have no clue.
This question is, did you ever feel like you wanted to get out of show business?
Every day of my life, no. No. Show business has been real good to me. I mean, really good to me. Made me a very wealthy man. And I had an opportunity to really do things that it allowed me to experiment, to use it as a tool, to introduce perspectives rather than sit around and go through this dilemma about why this doesn't happen, that doesn't, this or that doesn't happen. I figure, okay, let me take the negative. Let me take what seems almost impossible to do, and take it and make something interesting with it.
Yeah.
And it's a great test. For me, anyway, for me, I can't speak for anybody else. But for me, it was, I'm always testing myself to see how I can get to do something that's going to possibly create a change. You know, because, I mean, let's face it, everything in this, I mean, the 21st century has presented a whole kind of a challenge, you know, and I saw it coming, you know, in the 20th century. And I said to myself, let me just try to figure out how to take all of this stuff that doesn't seem possible and see it and make it possible. But for me, it's fun. I mean, it's like I'm like this little kid You know, I'm like this child. I'm like this little sponge. Even now, I'm 87 years old in April. And I go like, I mean, my back is killing me, my hip is killing me, but somewhere in my head, I'm not like this 87. I'm not like, you know, senile. I'm like looking at it and saying, yeah, the universe, you know, the cosmos, you know, the atoms and the electrons and the neutrons and all that stuff that, you know, frequency and energy and, you know, vibrations. You know, how it all, you are me and I'm you. I'm you, and you are me. We're like molecules, we're like these atoms. We're just an extension. This is my brain working. We're an extension of the universe.
Yeah.
And I don't want to close my eyes. I want to keep my eyes open. You know, when I was a little boy, I used to have dreams. I used to have recurring dreams of being in the First World War. And for a long time, I had that dream of being killed in a trench, in a muddy trench. And then it stopped, the dream stopped. And when I was being drafted, well, Corey, my son, kept me out because he was around at that time. But I always felt like I was never going to have the experience of killing somebody or being killed again, or I would never ever have the experience of killing anybody, which is worse than being killed to me. I feel like cosmically speaking, I've moved on to another sphere, another place.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think my life revolves around this whole cosmic energy kind of thing. I'm not a religious person. I think religion is a con game. I think everybody, well, I don't want to get into all of this. Oh, look at me. Nice little boy.
Oh my goodness.
But
Unfortunately, they're looking at me.
okay, they
gotta-
want me to stop doing this.
Well,
Okay.
I could stay here for another hour, but I think they closed the
Anyway,
place
listen,
down.
thank you so much,
I
everybody.
know. Billy D. Williams. Have a good night. Oh, 5:30.
I'll see you in the universe.